Department of Corrections, Carson City West. If you feel you are being victimized or extorted by this prisoner, please contact GTL Customer Service at 855-466-2832. To accept this call, press 0. To refuse, your current balance is $17.21. This call is from a correction facility and is subject to monitoring and recording. Thank you for using GTL.
Hey.
Yes, sir.
All right. Yeah.
You ready?
So I don't know where I left off.
Oh yeah, it don't matter. It's just a bunch of questions I gotta ask, but hey, we back to it. So just to let you know, you've been recorded again. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So you joined the Moore Science Temple of America. What made so much sense about it to you?
Well, that being an organization for the purpose of uplifting and fallen humanity, I was trying to, figure out, okay, for one, how can I, uplift myself? For one, I'm trying to find God. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to be a better person. I'm trying to change my life. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to change my life, my ways, the things that I was doing. And like I said before that, man, I was young, I was wild, I was in some of everything, and so I had to, I'm trying to figure out a way to change my way of life. So I gravitated toward the Moore Science Temple of America, after being exposed to the teachers. Like I said, they was, let me read the pamphlet, Moorish literature, where it was talking about what is Islam, and they explained what Islam is, and things of that nature. So once I started reading that, then brother started talking to me about, different things out of the Quran, of the Moore Science Temple of America. So, that's what pushed me toward that. And then I thought, heard certain brothers speak, I found myself joining that movement, for that reason. Mainly, I wanted to change my life and, being the whole organization being for the purpose of uplifting fallen humanity. I said, I'm trying to uplift myself, and I'm definitely trying to uplift, my mother, my sister, my brother, my family, outside of that, friends and any individuals that's tied to me. So, that's why I found myself in that organization.
Have you ever met Ricky Rimmer?
Yeah, we here together. He in a different unit. I know him. I've been knowing him for years. Yeah, we have been in Max together. We have been in joints together, a lot of prisons together. But he here. That's it. We good friends. He here in another unit. So.
Can you speak about him a bit and his personality and what he's done for the movement?
Oh, he done a lot for the movement over the years. But that's a brother, and over the years, about meeting him, I had heard the stories about him, because he was out cold back in the day, in this prison yard, and dealing with guys, but he for the brother, he for the brothers, and if you need anything, he gonna help you, he gonna try to assist you in anything that you need, and I've been knowing him for years, so. Everybody, that know him, don't too many guys say nothing bad about him. And most of the brothers love him, because of how he is, his personality, and he's a genuine brother,
Exactly.
Loyal, respected, everything that entails, the character of a real brother. So, yeah. But all I got is, good words to say about him.
Definitely.
You ain't gonna find too many guys that's gonna say any otherwise.
Yeah, very, very true. Now I want to remind you while we at it. Anything I ask you that you don't want to answer, don't get mad or nothing like that. It's just I gotta ask the questions. I don't take no sides. So if you don't want to answer it, you don't answer it, or don't get offended by it. I just want to, I ask the questions that people want me to ask. So, okay. So, far as the Moore Science Temple of America, Do y'all feel like the brothers that's out here in the free world, that's in the Motorcycle Temple of America, do you feel like they appreciate y'all? Because me personally, I feel like when I go to a meeting period, at least half the
Right.
congregation done been incarcerated, and they found the Motorcycle Temple of America in prison. But I feel like these brothers outside don't appreciate y'all as much as they should.
Well, I haven't really thought about it or looked at it from that perspective as far as saying the brothers out there don't appreciate us. I think what happens is, a lot of guys, because I'm in touch and communicate with a lot of brothers that's out there that do go to the temple and everything. So, just a few names like MatthewsBey, the white hair seal, Rodney Little Bay just passed, but Neil Bay, Day, these guys I jail with as friends of mine, and I've been communicating since they've been out, but I don't think it's like they don't appreciate us. I think that when they get out there, they got their priorities and they got their family and other things, and then, they attend their meetings, but they don't have time to really, certain ones to really do a lot of things that they probably thought or had intentions on doing as far as connecting with brothers that's still locked up. But I don't look at it as they don't appreciate the brothers that's locked up. I think when they get out there, they remember the relationship with a lot of us, but, they don't have a whole, they're not, really trying to come back up in here, and do some of the things that we probably think that they should be trying to do.
So
that's how I look at it from my perspective of just still being in here. They reach out to certain brothers that they was real cool with and bonded with, but as a whole, I don't look at it as they don't appreciate us. I don't really look at it from that perspective.
Okay, well, I'm not gonna lie to you. I kind of do because I work 2 jobs. I hustle. I sell paint. I do a lot of things, but I still make sure that I reach back to the brothers. I send literature, so on and so forth. And I would have never found, or probably would have never found, the Motorcycle Temple of America if it wasn't for y'all brothers. I feel like when we on those yards, some of these brothers willing to die, willing to stab, willing to kill, willing to do all this stuff for you. The least you could do is just send some literature back to a couple grand sheets or be accessible to, the brothers incarcerated.
I think at this point in this point in time, it's not as easy and as simple as brothers can just try to come back up in here and, and speak and communicate. But it's a lot that do that I know personally that do that and, reach back out and connect and all that. But like I say, you got certain ones, they do it with certain brothers that they bonded with and they got real cool with it here. Mm-hmm. So, I'm not out there, so being out there, if I was out there, I don't know, I probably would have a different perspective, but just from looking at it from the inside, looking at it from being in here and looking out there, it's just so many brothers that I still communicate, look out for me and everything that's Moors. You know what I'm saying? I just named a few, but I can name, other brothers, they Moors, and they, they look out for me and they reach back and they communicate and they trying to do everything if they can to try to help me get out, so.
Okay. I understand and respect that.
Yeah.
Do you feel like...
They closing this yard too, you hear me? So
okay.
We're going to come right back out on this yard, so if you want me to, I'm just going to, call back when we come right back out. I think it'll probably be like 10 or 20 minutes before we come back out on this yard.
I definitely want you to call back.
Yep. So I'm finna get off this phone before he get on me. So,
all
peace,
right.
And I'll call you back in like 20 minutes.
All right, for sure. Peace.
All right, peace.
So I did a post last night. Some of the people asked me some questions to ask you. They want to know. I want to know too. But when was the first time in prison somebody tried you and that you had to act up and show who you could be?
I think that's MR.
What level?
MR. That was level. It was called close custody then. So MR was level 4. called Gladiator School. All guys that was young, you know what I'm saying, that was too old to be in Jackson, but, you know, young enough where they put them in MR. So that was like the first time. And that's why I got into most of my trouble in MR. Young guys, wild, just come down with a whole bunch of time. So it was like when I went there, you know, they tried anybody and everybody.
So how did they? What was your first incident? What was your first incident?
Well, the first incident was in Jackson where I knocked a white boy, well, European down on the gallery, and then the guy was like, "Hey man, you know," because we was on a third gallery, but that was the first incident. You know, he went to talking crazy and all that, and I knocked him down. But the first actual where I really got into it was Jackson. I mean, it was MR in the kitchen. You know, we doing seg trays, and another guy that just happened to be European again went to talking crazy. We doing seg trays, and I ended up knocking him out on the seg line. You know, while we doing seg trays. Just so happened, one of the guys that used to be in Jackson with me stopped me from stumping him because he was knocked out. He hit the cart on the way down and was pretty much knocked out, and I was finna stump him. He like, "Hey, hold on." And, you know, everybody on the line still right there. He like, "Look, man, old boy already knocked out. You do that, you know, it might be worse." So, you know, somebody went and got, you know, the stewardess, and when they got the stewardess, somebody ended up telling anyway. So they ended up coming to get me. They put me in a hole. They had 3 confidentials, so I ended up going to the hole with it. Even after the guy was like, "No, he didn't do nothing," but you know, they still went off of that. And then the next major incident was when I ended up having to stab a guy on J5 on my rock. You know, a brother. You know, he called himself having some words with me, and you know, it ended up getting ugly where I end up.
What did the words? Where did the words stem from? Like what went on?
You say what went on with that incident?
Yeah, like what caused it?
Oh, what caused it was this guy was what you would consider a bully. You know, he had just came over there, rolled in from MTU. MTU was a spot where you had a bunch of wild young guys, but he ended up riding in from MTU. When he rolled in over there, you know, he rolled in, he was on our rock. So when he got up there, you know, he was on some stuff, running up in gas cell, you know, went up in one gas cell, beat him up, you know, so he was on that tip. So, you know, I'm pretty much laid back, which I've been my whole bit. So, you know, one day I had ended up, you know, I was getting all type of magazines, like Ebony Man, you know, different jet magazines. So one day he asked to see some magazines, so I sent them down there. When I asked the block rep to grab my books from him, just grab them and bring them back. He's like, "Hey man, don't be sending no guy down here to my cells," and went out on the guy. So the guy came back and was like, "Hey man, dog tripping." So I don't, you know, so when I come out, I go down there and I tell him, I say, "Hey man," I say, when I send somebody down there to grab my books, you know, you just gotta send them back. I said, "We got a problem with it, and I'm not just gonna deal with you. We're not gonna deal with each other." So, you know, after that incident happened, not too long after that, it's one day where the store, they had inventory. So when they got inventory, that's the day where you really can't go to the store. They doing inventory. So I had a bunch of stuff in my cell. So off the window, you could see inside the guy's cell. So one day he looking into the cell. So he see I'm in there, and I remember I'm making peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. He hollered down there. They used to call me Matt. So he like, "Hey man, send me something down here, man. Send me something to eat." So I know it probably sounded bad the way I said it, but I said, "Hey, I ain't got nothing for you." However that went. So when I said that, he just immediately went out hard and F you. He said, "Man, you think you something." He said, "You think you something? You got the typewriter down there, you got the Duke code." So he using, you know, he just using the time to just vent. like he can't give me a sandwich there. So he talking. So I just phase him out. I don't even respond. So my neighbor come back, which was Bonzio, brother that I used to mess with. He come back. So when he come back, he knock on the wall. He's like, who? He said, who Ace talking to? I said, he talking to me. He's like, what? Now my neighbor knew I kept knives in my cell. So he already know I got a knife. So after that incident, the next morning come. So when I wake up the next morning, I'm hollering at my neighbor, Bonzio. We talking about a bet that we made the night before. So as we talking, the same guy hollering down there, he say, Bonzio, yeah, fuck that guy, man. That guy ain't nothing. He ain't talking about nothing. So I came to the bars. I said, hey, I said, look. I said, you talking that stuff? I said, when the doors break, make sure you strap them on. It's on. So he thought I was playing. So when I tell him that, he like, oh, you ain't Flint. The same guy was hollering that last night. You ain't Flint. He just talking. He down there just talking. So lunchtime, I'm about to get him. I'm just waiting on lunchtime. So in between then, he only come out for his showers in the morning, but I don't come out in the morning because I would have got him that morning. So what happened is we come out at lunch. The next time we come out is at lunch. So I go to law library because I had law library. So when I go over there, other guys I know, they like, what's up, man? I said, no.
You have 1 minute remaining.
So when I go to the law library, come back. So I'm giving guys they takes back and stuff like that. So when the doors break, I'm waiting. I got all blues on. I got a knife in my pocket. So soon as the doors break, soon as he come down there, guess what he come do? He come right to my cell to apologize. But I'm already past that point. So when he come down there, he like, look, Mac, I was just playing, man. He said, I was just playing, you know. So I said, man, you got to quit playing. And I'm trying to smile. So right after that, he bent down and tied his shoes up right in front of my cell. Man, I put so many holes in that boy. I stabbed him. He had like 12 puncture wounds. So, you know, I'm hitting him. So we going in the middle of the rock. So they call child. But when they call child, guys, my man and them having guys walking in the middle of a rock so they can't see down there. So
Thank you for using GTL.